Thank you for joining this morning. My name is Mark had mentioned, Darren Collins. I am the founding Chief Financial Officer of Khiron Life Sciences Corporation. Khiron is a Latin American-focused integrated medical cannabis company, core operations in Colombia and expanding across the region of Latin America. Thank you. Okay. Perfect. So some disclaimers here. I will be making forward-looking statements. These next few slides keep the lawyers happy, but really the presentation starts here. And what we're looking at on the screen is the Latin American market. So within Latin America, you have 620 million people. Within that 620 million people, you have approximately 68 million people that have conditions suitable for treatment with medical cannabis. And within Latin America and Colombia, you have just shy of 50 million people and 6 million people with conditions potentially suitable for treatment with medical cannabis. So what we're talking about here is a very large market that is unaddressed at this point in time that's really just opening up. So, from a Canadian perspective, where I'm from, it's like turning back the clock 5 years and having the opportunity to really invest when this market is just coming to the forefront. The business model is straightforward. We're focused on the largest city centers for the largest conditions within these markets. So you look at a place like Mexico City, 35 million people. A place like Bogota, where I've spent 6 of the last 22 months, 10 million people. These are very large population bases with really what is unmet medical needs. So we're focused on addressing those unmet medical needs. And, you look at, again, these charts here, you can see that, the majority of the market's represented by, chronic pain. Then you have, sleep deprivation, anxiety. So, that's really the core of the business model, and, that's really market driven. Some of the accomplishments that we've had, again, I've been, founding Chief Financial Officer of this company. We've put in about, almost 2 years of work building this. Number of accomplishments over that timeline that we're very proud of. First company from a Colombian cannabis perspective to go through a listing process. We are listed both in Canada, in the US, and here in Germany. I led that process. It was an extensive process, and very pleased with the fact that we were first on that. We also, as a matter of public record, got the first licenses ever issued for the legal commercial cultivation of cannabis in the country of Colombia. We were the first to be fully licensed. And now, really doing the registration of genetics, certification of grow, and, in the midst of commercializing products. We are the first company to implement US DEA pharmaceutical protocols for security and compliance. One of our business partners, his name's Matt Murphy, former Chief of Pharmaceutical Investigations for the DEA. We're really setting the standard in that respect. This just looks at Colombia as a country. Beautiful place. Again, 6 of the last 22 months I've spent in Colombia. You look at emerging middle class. It's doubled really over the last 10 years. You look at the investment grade ratings from all the major rating agencies, and you look at the international and regional trade relationships that the country has. It's a fantastic place to do business. At this point in time in the world, I would also say that Colombia is the greatest place in the world to cultivate cannabis. There's a reason for that. 3 reasons in specific. One, you have a situation where you're right on the equator, so you have 12 hours sunlight and 12 hours darkness, which is near perfect for growing cannabis. You have to augment with a little bit of artificial light during one of the grow phases. 2, you have a variance of elevation that means you can grow at a altitude that gives you a lack of humidity, humidity being an issue for cannabis plants. And then 3, you also have a well-defined set of cannabis regulations, medical in the case of Colombia, extracts only. But if you use those 3 criteria and you go around the world, you quickly determine that Colombia is the place to grow cannabis at this point in time. And, that is a agricultural advantage that, we certainly look to leverage and, have as a comparative advantage to markets such as Canada, the US, Europe as well. So, great place to be, great country. Couldn't be more pleased to be doing business there. Our team, you'll see on this slide, starting with Alvaro Torres, my business partner for the last 2 years, CEO, founder of SNC Lavalin in Colombia, built that with, his father actually from 2 people to 2,000 people over a number of years. Was also involved in the construction of Colombia's tallest skyscraper, has done business from the south of the U.S. border down to the tip of Argentina, has, been educated in the U.S. He's both a Colombian and a U.S. citizen, RPI University, bachelor's, master's, as well as an MBA from the University of Georgetown. Just a wonderful individual and fantastic leader for our business. Chris Naprawa, my other business partner, I've known him for 15 years or so. Chris was the former head of institutional sales at Macquarie Capital Markets in Canada, former head of institutional sales at Dundee. Again, just a fantastic individual with a wide array of experiences in capital markets. Myself, financial background, worked for a number of investment banks in Canada, also worked for an investment bank in the City of London. I was formerly founding chief financial officer of Namaste Technologies. That was a company from the time that we founded to the peak of its market cap, went from a $5 million post-money valuation on the initial raise to $1.2 billion in a period of 2 years. Suffice it to say, we did very well for our investors on that and actually made a few dollars or two ourselves. Andreas Galafri is the former brand manager for Advil in Colombia. From inception within the market to approximately a 30% market share in 3 years. So we talk about doctor engagement, education, commercialization of products. We couldn't be more fortunate to have an individual with Andreas's background as part of our team. Juan Diego Alvarez wrote the regulations for medical cannabis in the country of Colombia. This whole market and opportunity that we've been afforded and have the opportunity to invest in is all based on regulation. That is legalization of what was previously illegal markets. If you don't understand the regulations and you don't understand them intimately, you are walking around in the dark without a flashlight, period. That applies to all markets. So Juan Diego spearheads that for us. Matt Murphy is, again, the former chief of pharmaceutical investigations for the DEA. Matt is a wonderful individual, US-based, spent his career essentially fighting the opioid crisis. And, Matt's tagline is, in 30 years with the DEA, Matt has seen a lot of things. He has seen the worst of what drugs do to people in society. But one thing that he has never seen is somebody overdose from cannabis in 30 years with the DEA. Matt is a fantastic individual. We're very fortunate to have him as well. Maria Fernandez was educated at McGill University. She spent 4 years working with palliative care and chronic pain clinics in Montreal, Canada. She's a Colombian national and is actually moving back down to South America. She got engaged to a gentleman down there. And, we couldn't be more fortunate to have, again, someone with her background that's prescribed cannabis within Canada that will be coming down to Latin America to educate doctors, which is, key cornerstone of our business model is really about education and rolling out of products within the Latin American market. Day after we announced Maria, Canopy made her a proposal, so we're pretty pleased with the hire that we've made there, and she's very pleased to be working with us. And then the other managers you have here are all very capable, competent professionals that manage various divisional activities. You'll notice several individuals on here, Sydney Himmel, Mark Monahan. Mark is in the room with us here somewhere, founding director of the company. Through his relationships in Panama, this company came to be. Sydney Himmel, long-term business partner, background in capital markets, development of companies. Then you have Alvaro Yanez and Peter Simeon, both very well-respected, qualified lawyers. Alvaro in Colombia, Peter in Canada. And Vicente Fox, former president of Mexico, is actually on our board of directors as well. He is one of the most dynamic and interesting individuals I've ever had the pleasure to spend time with. He actually started as Coca-Cola bottle delivery boy within Mexico, dropping off full bottles, picking up empty ones. Worked his way up to CEO of Coca-Cola Mexico. When he started, Coca-Cola in Mexico was a 3-to-1 Pepsi market. When he finished 7 years later, it was 3-to-1 Coke to Pepsi. So how do you do that? And quite simply, his answer was twofold: through product diversification and endorsement association on branding and rollout of products. His insight is directly applicable to our business, and not to mention the fact that he has some fantastic relationships as former president of the country. Again, just a fantastic individual and someone that we're very lucky to be involved with. We just rolled out our cosmeceutical products, so we are revenue producing at this point in time. This is really the products right here. They're approximately 2% CBD by weight. These are just launched. We launched them a couple weeks back at the largest beauty and wellness show in Colombia. So far, traction has been absolutely excellent. We have 3 major agreements, one with a pharmacy chain, one of the largest in Colombia, one with an online distributor, and one with a wholesaler. So we're across different business lines to really roll out these products within Colombia and just launch them. Here's a little bit on the market. So, cosmeceuticals in Latin America, it grows every year. It's a very well-defined market. You also look at what we have on these. These are the first INVIMA approvals, which is the equivalent of the FDA on this type of product within Latin America. So we're really tip of the spear here and now into revenue. This is our brand and ambassador, Catalina, host of Survivor in Colombia, judge of Colombia's Next Top Model, soap star in Colombia, household name really, about 1.5 million social media followers. So she is our brand ambassador and really the driving force driving force of us bringing this to market. These are the medical cannabis products. We'll be rolling these out early in the new year, starting with CBD, then transitioning into THC products and blended products between the two. So we're currently cultivating. We are underway in terms of product definition, formulation, et cetera. These will be coming to market very soon. So early new year, we roll out our medical cannabis products. We started with the wellness line as a timing to market consideration. We actually imported the CBD initially for those products, but that CBD will be replaced with our own production over time. But this is really the packaging, branding, everything that Khiron has developed and will be rolling out here. These slides, I'm going to start with this one and then I'll go back to this one. Really what differentiates our company is, we are the leaders in terms of defining a distribution model and strategy within Latin America. Intuitively, it's quite easy to understand what this slide is telling you. Patients listen to their doctors and doctors listen to their doctor associations. Really what that means is by optimizing or signing exclusive relationships with various doctor associations, we get access to doctors, what gives us access to patients. This is a defensible part of our business strategy, and really the core of what we're looking to do is this slide here, is an educational approach. So the model, again, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel within Latin America. We're taking the best of international bodies of knowledge and bringing it to Latin America. So you look at what we've been doing, that's e-learning, educational platforms, conferences, really bringing in the most qualified professionals from around the world to teach doctors in Colombia about medical cannabis. Part of that is a clinic strategy. We're rolling out a number of clinics in the country of Colombia. The idea is not to populate Colombia and Latin America with clinics, but to have key locations within certain parts of the cities that we're looking to address. Think of it like an Apple store. Apple stores don't represent the majority of Apple sales, but what they do is they give look, feel to the brand. You can go in, you can see the new iPhone, you can hold it, you can speak to somebody about it, you can see what color you like, what size you like, etc. In the context of medical cannabis, that is providing an educational and distribution center where a doctor, patient, et cetera, can come in and learn about what medical cannabis is and what medical cannabis isn't. Medical cannabis is not a bunch of people sitting around getting high. Medical cannabis is people coming into places to treat conditions, to get medication that is improving their quality of life. And that is absolutely fundamental to our business strategy. And these clinics represent a way for us to, really put look and feel to the brand and really work with the physicians and doctors within our market. We just announced, or in the process of closing our first acquisition, what we've done is bought 2 pain clinics within Bogota in the key medical district of the city. We're essentially paying all in, including an earnout of $5 million, $12 million worth of consideration. We pick up 100,000 patients, 46 clinicians and physicians, and the idea being that we now have a captive patient audience and a captive group of medical professionals that we're going to have Maria Fernanda train. We have all the educational materials developed. Business does $10.5 million in sales, $1.8 million in EBITDA, audited 2017 numbers. And the idea is that we're going to take the existing medication of these patients and either supplement it or replace it with medical cannabis. The earnout is based on a 30% conversion of 100,000 patients. Essentially, we get to 30,000 patients. This looks something like $40 million in revenue and nearly $30 million of EBITDA. So the scalability and the profitability of this opportunity is absolutely fantastic, and we think these acquisitions make a lot of sense for our business, and we continue to identify opportunities such as this one that we'll execute on. We are now in Chile. Beautiful country, great market, approximately 1.8 million patients. We have a MOU that we've signed there. We will be executing on that and closing on it. Again, a fantastic market within Latin America. Upon closing of this acquisition, we will be a multi-jurisdictional company. This looks at our grow. We are in Ibagué, Colombia, which is a area known for its rice cultivation. It is also a very secure region within Colombia. It's about 3 hours from Bogota. If you drive, it's a 20-minute flight should you take kind of a charter regional jet. ISO 17025, GMP, good agricultural practices. It's all being built to world-class standard. When you look at the property itself, it's nearly 20 hectares of land. In terms of scalability on the cultivation, it's really quite amazing what we can produce off this property. If you look at it in terms of grow metrics and financial metrics, nearly 20 hectares of cultivation area gives you about, call it 2 million square feet. That 2 million square feet of cultivation area is capable of producing somewhere in the neighborhood of 170 long tons. That's 170 million grams, 170,000 kilos, a massive amount of cannabis. When you look at the selling price that we've modeled within Colombia, we've modeled a B2C or B2P, business to patient, selling price of $4 flower equivalent. We did that based on the purchasing price parity per capita between Canada and Colombia and the available data on selling prices between those markets. We also looked at the out-of-pocket spend of alternative medications and the price of products within the gray or black market to come up with that price. So $4 flower equivalent. That would essentially give you on that distribution model, should you fully build it out over time, approximately $680 million of revenue at that scale. You're well over a 90% gross margin and a capital expenditure to build that all out of $30 million or so. That's about a tenth of the capital expenditure profile of places like Canada and the US. So what we're saying is, $30 million worth of capital invested into building out this facility would, conceivably generate you $680 million of revenue at a 90% gross margin. They're some of the best numbers I've ever seen in my life. The real leading indicator, though, of how big this company is going to get isn't necessarily in the cultivation. It's in the addressing of the market and the build-out of the market. Because in order to consume that much cannabis that I'm talking about, you need about 1.3 to 1.4 million patients. The core objective of this company is not to have 2 million square feet of cultivation area. The core objective of this company is to have over 1 million patients. And, at that kind of scale with the numbers that I'm talking about, we have a multi-billion-dollar business here, we believe. Capital structure, we've preserved the capital structure. We're a $110 million market cap. We own a lot of it, 27%. My business partners and I, we are aligned with investors. Myself personally, I've participated in every financing round and bought stock in the market as well. So we're very much believers in this business. We're not doing it for the monthly salary. We've done well in business, and really at the end of the day, we're working for our equity and aligned with investors in that respect. We are well capitalized. We have enough cash on hand to do what we need to do in the near to midterm. So our hands aren't out for additional capital. We're really looking for people to participate in the market and buy the stock. Just some quick precedents. You look at the valuations on deals within the region. Sometimes you get it right. 24 months ago, approximately, we said that Latin America was an unserviced market that was really opening up, and sometimes you get it right. So we've positioned ourselves well there as the leading company within the region. And you look at some of the valuations on transactions that have taken place within the market, provides a good indication of value as it relates to our company. So just to finish it off, we're in a large market. We're a first mover within that market. We're within revenue coming out with additional products here early in the new year. We have a great clinic and patient-focused model. We have a great installed capacity and fantastic capital structure. We're aligned with investors and investors ourselves. So that's the presentation. Certainly encourage you to follow the company. Stock trades Monday to Friday, 9:30 Eastern to 4 o'clock, excluding national holidays. So thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation, and happy to answer any questions.